Hello, welcome to my site translation practice video. My name is Alifiah and here I will interpret the legal documents of the laws of the Republic of Indonesia. So I will show you the original document here, and this document can also be accessed online in peraturan.bpk.go.id. Alright, as you can see that the title of this document is The Laws of Republic Indonesia number 1 of 1974, and it's talking about marriage in Indonesia. So in chapter 1 is talking about the basis of marriage, and it's stated in Article 1, marriage is a bond between a man and a woman as husband and wife with the aim of forming a family. Right, now let's get into the second page. So the second page contains Article 2 that explains marriage is valid if it is according to the laws of each religion, and every marriage is recorded according to the regulations. Of course, in the regional or district courts. And in Article 3, it explains that a man can only have one wife and a woman can also only have one husband. But there is a permission for husband to do polygamy or having more than one wife, but it requires by the parties concerned. Therefore, in Article 4, it explained that a husband may do polygamy, but he must submit an application to the district courts, and the court only grants permission when a wife cannot fulfill her obligation as a wife, or having a physical disability or illness that cannot be cured, or the husband cannot give birth to a child or the higher of the family. Right, next into the third page, it's the Article 5. Article 5 is talking about the applications of the polygamy. It must meet the consent of the wives or wives, and it's also certain that the husband is able to guarantee the necessities of life for his wives and children, and the husband must guarantee that he will act fairly to all his wives and children as well. But the approval is not necessary for a husband if his wife are not allowed him to remarry, and if there is no news from his wife for 2 years or due to other reasons which need to be assessed by the court judge. And then in the chapter 2 is talking about the conditions of marriage, in Article 6, marriage must have the consent of both brides and the grooms. To the marriage of those who haven't turned 21, there must be a permission from both parents, and in that case, if one of the parents has died or in a state of being unable to give their will or permissions, then the permission may be given from the parent who is able to give their will, or the other relative that is still related in blood. Right, next into the next page. So in the next page, still related to the previous page, in case of both parents have died and being unable to give their permission or will, then the permission can be given from the relative or the family who have blood relation, as long as they are still alive and capable of doing that. And then in the case where there are different opinions in between families or some arguments, then the regional courts can give permissions for the groom and bride after hearing the family's concerns or opinions. And therefore, this is also need to be considered from the religions and their beliefs as well. And in the Article 7, it explained that marriage is not only permitted if the groom has reached the age of 19 and the bride has reached the age of 16. And therefore, in case there are an underage marriage, then the parents can request a dispensations to the district court. telling that their child really want to get married. And then into next page. So we're getting to the conditions of the family that I mentioned before. This applies for a case of request for dispensations without using what is intended in Article 6, Paragraph 6 about religions and beliefs. So religion and beliefs still has to be considered even if the parents apply for the dispensation to the district courts. And in the Article A, marriage is prohibited when related by blood, such as mother, father, son, daughter, or is related by the side bloodline, such as siblings or parents' relative or the grandparents' relative as well. And also, it's prohibited when relative, like in the parents-in-law, son-in-law, mother, or stepfather as well. And it's also the breastfeeding parents, breastfeeding children, foster children, and foster aunt or uncle as well. Or is related to the wife, such as the aunt, the niece from the wife, in case of a husband doing polygamy, or having a relationship that is forbidden by their religion. And in the Article 9, a person who is still married to another person cannot remarry except in the cases mentioned in Article 3, Verse 2, and Article 4. Right, next pages. In the Article 10, if a husband and wife who have divorced and remarry each other twice, then they are not allowed to remarry again for the third time. And in the Article 3, for a woman who become a widow due to divorce, there's a period of waiting time that is applied. And the grace of the periods for the waiting time will be regulated in further government regulations. And in the Article 12, the procedure for marriage are regulated in separate statutory regulations, so we will be discussed furthermore in other regulation. Alright, next is the chapter 3 is the prevention of marriage. So in Article 13, marriage can be prevented if there are parties who do not fit the condition of marriage, as it has stated before. And for furthermore, it will be goes to the next page. In Article 14, those who can prevent a marriage or families, like father, mother, or the guardians of the brides of the grooms, or those who are mentioned before, also have the right to prevent the marriage if one of the candidates are under certain condition that might cause a negative effect for the other. And in the Article 15, any person who is still bound by marriage to another person can prevent new marriage without reducing the provisions of Article 3 and Article 4 that has been stated before. And in Article 16, the appointed official is obligated to prevent a marriage if the requirements that has been stated before in Article 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 are not fulfilled. And the officials appointed also will be discussed, and it will be stated furthermore in the further regulated by statutory regulations. So actually it's not a full document interpreting, but that was 7 pages that I have interpreted for you. So thank you so much for hearing my side translation practice video. I hope it will give you some insight, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.